Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, November the 5th, 2012. Of course, live from London. Tape delayed from London, Birmingham, England. Birmingham. My thoughts on tonight's Raw. A lot of matches tonight, quick ones, but decent ones. And plus various shakeups in Survivor Series card changing up for the worse or the better. But we'll see what happens with the latest shakeups. And the shakeups for Survivor Series, especially the main events, began immediately when we went on the air for Raw. We began Raw with The Miz talking with Paul Heyman. Of course, as we began Raw, a scheduled Raw main event for Survivor Series was going to be Team Punk against Team Foley. Team Punk at the time was going to be Team Punk teaming up with Team World Scholars, and also WWE The Miz against Team Foley, which would be comprising at the time of Ryback, Kofi Kingston, Team Hell No, and Randy Orton. Well, Team Punk would lose its first member, as of course The Miz quit following his reaction to Punk pulsing out of the brawl that ended Raw last week involving both Team Foley and Team Punk. So if Miz out, they would find someone else to replace him, which would be Wade Barrett. So Wade Barrett would join Team Punk in the meantime. But of course, as we all know, later on in the evening, that match itself would change entirely in an instant. Before we get to that, before we get to the more shakeups involving Survivor Series card, we involve members of the Survivor Series team. We kick off in a tag team match, a six-man tag involving the United States Champion, Antonio Cesaro, teaming up with the team that's indeed to themselves worth millions of dollars, of course referring to Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, the part-time players, teaming up against R-Truth, who's had his little problems with Cesaro, ever Cesaro attacked Kofi Kingston last week, which prompted R-Truth to show up, of course prompted R-Truth to get involved with Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio in the six-man tag, which began Raw this evening, which was a okay matchup to begin Raw. Of course, the heel team would dominate most of the matchup, but indeed, once Sin Cara and Mysterio got in, the high-flying moves began. Of course, the match ended with a flurry of moves with a weird tilt-a-wall slam thingamajiggy from Sin Cara to Mr. Cesaro, which of course landed. Was it Cesaro or Darren? One of those guys. Anyway, then of course after Sin Cara's moves, it was 619 by Mr. Mysterio, and of course the lie detector, or as he calls it now, the little Jimmy, for Darren Young in a 1-2-3 victory for Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio, and R-Truth in this decent opening matchup for Raw, a six-man tag team matchup. So there you go. Of course, R-Truth way to get a shot possibly against Cesaro for the United States Championship, but we'll see if that match may get added. Maybe Survivor Series. You have surprised Mysterio and Sin Cara and part-time players don't have a Survivor Series match. Probably that may change now with the latest change-ups. Now on to our next segment of the night, which involved, of course, I thought it was done last week, but unfortunately it's continuing. The ongoing CM Punk, not technically CM Punk, but the John Cena AJ scandal, as they're referring to it. Of course, last week we saw evidence, according to Ms. Vicky Guerrero, that John Cena walked into a hotel elevator. And as I mentioned last week in my review, loving an elevator popped in my head by Aerosmith. But tonight, Vicky claimed she had more evidence, claiming that she had hotel security cameras, saying that Cena entered AJ's room by various security cameras. And Cena came out and said there were two different cameras, blah, 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 blah. Have AJ come out to defend herself, where AJ was backstage saying, I won't come out to defend myself because I know I will beat your ass, but I can't touch you because I'll get fired because of our commitment. The promise that I made to you when you re-signed me last week to a superstar deal, which of course led towards the last match of Beth Phoenix. For now, I mean, she may come back next year. But anyway, as AJ was talking to the back, Dolph Ziggler came out to the back, put his arm around AJ, And of course, Cena went to the back. We didn't see any backstage confrontation with Cena and Dolph after that, but we would see Dolph and Cena get involved physically later on in the evening. Now on to our next match. Entry up next. A little series of matches, which involved Team World Scholars and Team Hell No. Of course, singles matches. One that was made and one that was impromptu. First, it was Cody Rhodes taking on Daniel Bryan. Of course, the British crowd, pretty good crowd tonight, chanting yes all over the place for Mr. Bryan. Bryan took early control of the matchup, but indeed, a out-of-the-ring distraction as Kane was attacking Damien Sandow that distracted Daniel Bryan to get on the beautiful disaster kick outside the ring by Cody Rhodes. After that, he took him back to the ring, delivered the crossroads, and a quick victory for Cody Rhodes. Kind of a silly matchup. Silly ending. It should have been a good matchup, but had a silly ending with, of course, Damien Sandow getting involved, helping Cody Rhodes get the victory over one half of the tag team champions, Daniel Bryan and Kane. More specifically, Daniel Bryan. But after that, Kane did get involved. Of course, Kane wanted to get his hands on Damien Sandow. Well, Cody Rhodes made it happen. Cody Rhodes says, if I could beat Daniel Bryan, my partner could beat Kane. Well, indeed, that's what would happen, as Damien Sandow would have his shot to beat Kane in an impromptu match following Daniel Bryan's loss against Cody Rhodes. And the same plan was put into place, as Cody Rhodes was going to distract Kane to, of course, make Kane lose the same way Daniel Bryan lost. But the referee sent both Cody Rhodes and Daniel Bryan backstage, making it even one-on-one matchup, which basically sealed Damien's fate, as he would get chokeslammed by Kane in a 1-2-3 victory by Kane. Of course, both these men would be part of the Survivor Series teams, which of course would be seriously changed following one of our next segments. So there you go. Kane wins against Sandow. Bryan loses against Cody. So Team World Scholars and Team Hell No's 1-1 in singles matches. One team winning over the other, especially back-to-back singles matches, as we would happen. Now, speaking of Survivor Series in our next segment, of course, the Survivor Series main event would get changed drastically following our next segment, which would involve the suspended referee that, of course, had that whole silly segment with him and Ryback last week in Hell in a Cell with him costing Ryback the WWE Championship. Brad Maddox. I kept calling him Brad Maddox. Brad Maddox said, blah, 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 blah. I like to say, hoo-ah-ya. Anyway, I like the crowd there. Like I said, British crowds were pretty decent. Weird. They were not as bizarre as Canada, because Canada's called Bizarre Land, but England's pretty bizarre too, as the crowd reception for Wade Barrett. Anyway, Brad came out saying, I want to be a WWE superstar. I've been in the developmental stages. I've been wanting to be a star. I haven't been given the opportunity to be on the roster. Blah, 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 blah. That's why I want to do anything it'll take to be a superstar. Anything to get noticed. That's why I took the referee job. And that's why I did the Ryback screw job by myself. Of course, Punk's claiming he's not involved in it. Brad Maddox, once again, confirmed that Punk wasn't involved. But indeed, Brad wanted a contract, and he wanted a match against Ryback. But Vince McMahon came out, surprisingly, saying that, indeed, he believes Punk's involved. He doesn't believe the bullshit lies from both Maddox and Punk. He believes Punk and Heyman were behind this. He'll get to the bottom of it. But he said that next week, when Jada King Lawler returns to commentary land next week in Columbus, Ohio, Mr. Maddox will have a chance to get a contract after all. Despite screwing one Ryback, he would indeed try to win a contract, $1 million contract, Vince said, if he could beat Ryback. Speaking of Ryback, that leads us to, of course, Vince's big shakeups involving Survivor Series. Now, with, of course, the the reluctant decision of the managing supervisor, Vicky Guerrero, we have a new main event for the Survivor Series. Now, of course, it was supposed to be Team Foley and Punk. Now, a lot of people, including myself, are kind of like the Ryback Punk feud is kind of big right now. So, Why should they relegate one of the big feuds in a Survivor Series traditional matchup? Well, it won't. Vince, of course, changed that to be a WWE title match involving CM Punk and Ryback and John Cena. So it'll be a triple threat for the WWE Championship at the Survivor Series involving Punk, Cena, and Ryback. Of course, many people, including myself and my friend Will, unfortunately, would rather have seen a triple threat instead of what happened at the Hell in a Cell, but it will be a triple threat match at Survivor Series. Which, of course, with that immediate shakeup, left one big question. What happened to the Survivor Series team match? I thought it was a stupid decision. Last minute thing. It's like stupid. You made a Survivor Series match last week, Team Foley Punk. Oh, we're changing it and making Punk in a main event triple threat match against him and Cena and Ryback. With Cena and Ryback now getting a shot against Punk, that means, of course, Punk and Ryback are now out of their respective Survivor Series matches. So, now it's going to be Team Ziggler. Yes, there was rumors on Cena versus Ziggler, but now Cena now getting a title shot. Anything to keep Cena in the title picture. Dolph Ziggler will now captain the Survivor Series team with Wade Barrett, Team World Scholars, and Alberto Del Rio. Team up against the new Team Foley. 4 right now will be Orton, Team Hell No, and Kofi. When it comes to replacing Ryback, they don't know who's replacing Ryback yet. I have a sense in my head, of course, Miz left the Punk team at the beginning of the evening. I've been sensing that Miz may make a face turn and be on Team Foley. Maybe they're saving the big reveal either for Survivor Series or at Raw next week. So hopefully we'll find out who replaces Ryback. And hopefully, if we're lucky, next week's Raw will be TV 14. Please, Linda, lose in Connecticut. The entire WWE universe is praying to God that Linda McMahon loses the Connecticut Senate race so we can get TV 14 back. Fuck TVPG. Fuck it, man. Fuck TVPG. We want TV 14, bitch. Oh, hey. Because if Linda wins, the WWE's fucked. The WWE will stay on TVPG land if Linda wins tomorrow. Please, Connecticut. Make the smart decision. Don't vote for Linda McMahon. For the entire future of the WWE depending on it. Don't vote for Linda McMahon. Sorry. We don't want TVPG no more. We want TV 14. We want blood, damn it. We want more swearing. We want the Attitude Era back. Kind of. We just want TV 14 again. We don't want to be Attitude, but we just want TV 14. Fuck TVPG. Anyway, so there you go. Survivor Series Shakeups. Punk, Ryback, and Cena, triple threat. Team Ziggler now in Survivor Series, leading his team against Team Foley. And main event made for the night with Cena and Ryback. Yes, them two teaming up against Punk and Ryback. Of course, Punk is furious. Punk and Ziggler. Punk is furious. So we'll see what happens in the main event tonight. Tag team involving Punk and Ziggler against, indeed, Cena and Ryback. Now, I mentioned about The Miz, maybe joining Team Foley, replacing Ryback as a face. Well, till then, Miz is still looking as a hero, as Miz took on Sheamus with the World Champion Big Show at ringside. Of course, Sheamus will be getting a rematch against the Big Show at Survivor Series. So the match was another okay matchup, decent matchup. Sheamus had control, but of course The Miz, thanks to a little distraction for the Big Show, Miz took control for the later half of the matchup, dominating over the former world champ Sheamus, until indeed Sheamus came back like a house of fire with the chops, and of course delivering the white noise and the bull kick with a 1-2-3 victory on The Miz, sending a big message to the Big Show for their match at Survivor Series, which won't be any better than Hell in a Cell match, but still stupid. So, there you go. Sheamus getting a win over Miz. Of course, Miz in a couple movies, but indeed, Miz wants to get pushed. Well, he's getting pushed down with, of course, losing to Sheamus. Now on to our next match, which was another tag match. Unfortunately, it was a Divas one. It was, and I predicted it, Layla and Kaitlyn taking on the Divas champion, Eve, and Oksana with this whole Eve attacking Kaitlyn thing storyline stupid too. They need to get rid of that storyline too. Typical Divas tag match. Stupid. Boring. It was okay. Typical Divas match with, of course, Caitlyn. Yes, Caitlyn getting a surprise pin on the Divas champ. Eve 123. Probably going to get a title shot against Eve at Survivor Series. Probably one-on-one. Hopefully she doesn't get attacked again in that stupid storyline. So there you go. Caitlyn gets the victory for a team. Typical Divas tag. Let's move on with another tag match. Which involved my man, silly or not, I still love him, like him. Woo woo woo! You know it's Zack Ryder teaming up with Santino Marella. Team Goldberg taking on the team of Primo and Epico. Now it looked like Team Goldberg were going to lose yet again, despite an early control for both Santino and Ryder in the beginning. Indeed, Ryder got sidelined by Primo and Epico in the corner. Dominated for most of the match over Primo and Epico, but indeed, when Ryder got the tag, the hot tag to Santino. Santino came in like a house of fire, delivering his 3 moves of doom. By the way, I love that Cena mentioned his 5 moves of doom when I forgot to mention that during his segment with Vicky. I love when Cena's like, Vicky, the chances of you making me admit of something is like me adding a new move. Won't happen. The 5 moves of doom, that was a funny reference. Anyway, Santino got the Cobra after the big hip toss and the sword to drop thing, I like to call it. And a victory for Team Cobra over Primo and Epico. So, woo woo woo, you know it. Zack Ryder and Santino gets the victory in a decent tag match against Primo and Epico. Now on to our next match. I might have been messing up the order of the matches here. But we had, I think the Team Cobra match was following the following the Alberto Del Rio Kofi Kingston match. Of course, Kofi Kingston, still part of Team Foley, but Alberto Del Rio, fuming at the mouth, will be on Team Ziggler, of course. Alberto trying to have Ricardo distract Kofi, but indeed Kofi Kingston, despite, of course, Alberto focusing on the arm. It looked like Alberto was going to get the victory with the cross-arm breaker. But indeed, Kofi countered him in the SOS. And then, of course, Randy Orton got to get involved in the matchup, as Alberto was finally going to get the victory over Kofi following a second attempt at the cross-arm breaker. He was attempting to do that again. Orton, who, of course, got distracted by Alberto last week and lost on SmackDown, distracted Alberto long enough to get a roll-up from Kofi and a 1-2-3 victory from Kofi Kingston with a little help for Randy Orton, who indeed came out from the back to RKO Alberto after the matchup. Of course, they'll be fighting tomorrow night, Alberto and Orton, not only as part of the Survivor Series matches with Team Ziggler's Alberto, and of course, Orton being on Team Foley or Team Orton. I mean, renaming the Team Orton now. Of course, those two, Orton and Alberto, will fight tomorrow night on Super SmackDown Live in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. So, there you go. Yeah, I think I kind of messed up the order with the matches there with Kofi and Alberto match being before the Zack Ryder and Primo and Epico match. So I kind of messed up the order, but there you go. So Zack and Santino's match was after Kofi and Alberto. So there you go. I kind of messed it up, but here we go. Continuing on in white order with our next match involving Britain's own Wade Barrett taking on Borders Clay, who indeed probably one of the only places that Borders gets booed. Because London, like I said in the beginning, it's like bizarre land, kind of, like in Canada, but not as bizarre as Canada. They like to cheer their hometown boys, no matter if they're good or bad. So indeed, Wade Barrett got a lot of chants, including a little England chant. It goes out to go Barrett chant, Barrett chant, goes Barrett, being an accent and all. Anyway, Borders Clay trying to fight back, try to get some offense in, but indeed, Wade Barrett came crumbling back in a decent matchup, delivering the souvenir elbow in a 1-2-3 victory for Wade Barrett, now part of Team Ziggler, replacing The Miz. Now, our next matchup before our main event would involve one member of the one-man band, the one-man band himself, Heath Slater, of course, one member of the 3MB, with Jinder Mahal, who I thought were very impressive in their tag match last week. They were in a one-on-one situation against Jay Uso. Of course, Heath against Jay. Haven't seen the Usos in a while. I'm surprised they're still hired. Because I thought Usos was a pretty good tag team. But, another okay matchup. Raw matches these days are like either good or bad. The bad being the Divas matches. Everything else is decent or good. In this case, another decent matchup with Heath Slater getting the victory. Jey Uso trying to get some control in, but I think Jinder did not get involved. He did not distract anybody. But the Heath Slater got the victory with what he likes to call the smash hit. 1-2-3 victory for Heath Slater, giving himself and, of course, his own little group, the 3MB. Of course, Drew McIntyre wasn't there tonight. We don't know why. Getting momentum. This team, very vital force in the WWE since starting a few weeks ago after attacking Santino. Team Jobbers, I like to call them, the Job Squad. Also kind of reminding of the Team Job Squad back in 98-99 with Hulk Hogan and Al Snow. But indeed, it's indeed the 3MB, the three-man band. Now on to a main event matchup, which was CM Punk teaming up with Dolph Ziggler. Now those two have teamed up before. They both have walked out on each other. Punk walked out on Ziggler. Ziggler walked out on Punk on numerous occasions. But tonight, they did not walk out on each other. So, of course, they would take on Cena and Ryback. Despite, of course, Punk getting furious, thinking McMahon's gunning it for him. Punk and Ziggler basically cornered Cena for most of the matchup. It was basically a decent matchup. Basically a Super Cena matchup, kind of, with, of course, Cena getting his ass beat for the first 10 minutes or so of the matchup. With, of course, Punk and Ziggler getting themselves quick tags. And every time Cena tried to get the tag to Ryback, Cena would be cornered. Of course, Cena did not get to do his fight knuckle shove. He did do the FU. Of course, the usual boos. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. CM Punk, kind of. But indeed, after 5 or 10 minutes of getting his ass beat by Punk and Ziggler, Cena made the hot tag to Ryback. As, of course, Ryback got in, as Punk got in after Ziggler had to tag himself out. And, of course, dominant Ryback, once again, WWE trying to push him as the next big monster. Ryback dominating, of course, delivering meat hook clothesline to Dolph Ziggler, which ended up with, of course, CM Punk getting another shell shock. And Ryback, yes, Ryback in a tag team match pinned the WWE Champion. I hope that's not the scene at the pay-per-view. It's like the presidential election. Romney Obama wins, it's a lose-lose. Cena or Ryback win, it's also a lose-lose at Survivor Series. We don't want Cena as champion. We definitely don't want Ryback as champion. It's like, that's what I'm kind of comparing it with the presidential election. I don't talk politics much on here, but like either Cena or Ryback being champion is as bad as Obama and Romney, one of them being president. It's going to be the same result. We all lose. So there you go. And after the tag match, Ryback Cena got into a little stare down with Ryback, feed me more, chance to Cena as War went up the air. So Ryback and Cena may not be a handicap match 2-on-1 against Punk. Who knows? Maybe Ryback and Cena may get it on at Survivor Series in their little matchup. It may not. Maybe it'll be like a double team first, Ryback and Cena against Punk, but then eventually Ryback and Cena will probably have to fight each other at some point during their triple threat match against Punk at Survivor Series for the WWE Championship. Weird change-ups. So there you go. With War tonight, okay, well, but of course, change-ups. Being, of course, the triple threat match now. Team Ziggler against still Team Foley. We don't know who's replacing Ryback, but we'll probably find out, hopefully, by Survivor Series. Of course, next week in Columbus, Ohio, Jerry the King Lawler will return, and Ryback will indeed wrestle Brad Maddox as Brad tries to get a contract. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That is it for the my WWE Raw review for tonight. See you all later. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you so much. Vote good on Election Day. Don't vote Obama. Don't vote Romney. They both suck. And of course, more importantly, in Connecticut specifically, do not vote for Linda McMahon. We want TV 14 back in the WWE. Thank you again. See you later. Yeah.